Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Rehab with Roni podcast. I'm here today with Chris Kendall. He's a physical therapist, practice owner, and also co-founder of Comprehend AI, which is I'll let you talk about it actually. You can take it away. But first just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and then we can get into the details.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Um, I have been a PT since 2017. I went to school up here in Buffalo, New York. I graduated and got right into travel PT. Did that for 3 years. COVID hit, everything shut down. I was actually in Florida, so it was interesting. It was the last place to shut down, and all my friends in Buffalo, they're like, "Hey, everything is like crazy up here." And I was like, "Yeah, people are still on the beach hanging out." We rushed right home. Once I got home, COVID kind of had everything shut down still. So we started working per diem at a nursing home. I then started working outpatient here. So I was kind of jumping around. So I've worked in pretty much every setting at this point, which was interesting to me, like especially as a new grad, being able to learn a little of everything. Um, but once I got home, it was one of those things that like I never intended to own my own business, and it just kind of came out of necessity. I was listening to your what is it your second podcast where you talked about like how you kind of got into where you are now. That was actually pretty similar. I was working at a clinic. They wanted me to treat golfers because I had a TPI certification,
Oh,
and
really quick. What's a TPI certification?
it's
I
a
don't know what that is.
Titleist Performance Institute.
Okay.
It's through they're based out of San Diego. Pretty much anybody that treats golfers has at least the level one certification. I did a couple more of the certifications along the way, but they basically were, I was doing an eval for golfers at a golf sim facility, and then they wanted me to bring them back to the clinic. They needed PT, refer them to that clinic. I was like, so I don't get to do anything. It was funny. Like I literally was listening to your podcast and like the exact same thing happened to me.
They're
It's
trying to
kind of where,
utilize your skills and reap the benefits without ever having to bring you into the pay structure.
yeah. And they're
Nice,
like, well, you could
nice.
see them here in the morning before your shift starts. And then I was like, yeah, no, thank you. Um, so then I opened my own cash practice. It was technically October of 22. And then I was in a powerlifting gym because my friend actually owned it. It was kind of like a word of mouth. A girl that I used to work with at my old outpatient was training there, and my friend owned the gym. And he told her, like, oh, I'm looking for a PT. And everything just kind of fell into place. Um, he charged me next to nothing for rent. It was pretty
Yes.
much the ideal situation. Um, Powerlifters, I do enjoy treating, and the normal weightlifters too. The golfers is really kind of where I found my niche. Now I know your 1 year just rolled around. My one
Yeah.
year in my new facility is actually next week.
Awesome. Okay. So when you were in school and graduating 2017, did you ever have any inclination to start your own business, or was it more so just right place, right time, things sort of culminating and ending up putting you where
Right
you are?
place, right time, and more situation. I remember our third year in grad school, we had to do like a business plan, and it was like a
Same.
group project. I'm like,
Mhm.
I have no interest in doing this. Like, I don't want to own my own practice. Now looking back, I'm like, I should have paid a little more attention to that.
I Isn't that funny? Yes. I think PT school is not designed to really help you think like an entrepreneur or really put yourself in that position at all. It's really just trying to teach you how to be a good physical therapist. So a lot of people don't think about it until they get out. And then they're in a situation like yours where they feel maybe they're getting taken advantage of, or maybe they're just not, I don't know, working the job that they thought they were going to work. And then they have to sort of go back and be like, well, how do we do business? We didn't get our MBAs. How do we, we didn't learn about this. We learned anatomy.
Oh yeah, it was one of those things that kind of, like you said, fell into place. And
Yeah.
right place, right time, right people. I kind of talked to. They're like, oh, you should go talk to these people. And
Hmm.
getting out and marketing now is really what helps even more. Um, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting how when you make yourself available and open to those opportunities, how things will start to fall into place because, a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure they've asked you, like, "Oh, how did you get started? Like, what are the steps I need to take?" And there are steps that you can try and take, but a lot of times it's being able to just keep an open mind and consider other options in the first place because a lot of people just aren't even considering it. And the fact that you found yourself in a place where you're like, well, wait a second. I think I could do this. I think I could even niche down a little bit and treat golfers. I think that's really cool. So how did you get into the golfing community? Is that something you've always done?
Yeah, so I grew up playing hockey. So I actually
Okay.
treated a lot of hockey players and then the power lifters in the gym that I was in. And just kind of unintentionally, a lot of hockey players, their parents all golf. And they knew I had the TPI certification. So like I ended up treating their parents for golf, the kids for hockey, and then kind of went down the rabbit hole of golf simulators here. Are actually a really big thing now.
Mhm.
It's cold 9 months of the year in Buffalo.
Sure.
So now that all the indoor facilities kind of popped up, and the one that I'm in now, this room it had a big putting green in it, and then one golf simulator, and then the other side of the building had four other simulators. And in this room, nobody used the putting green, so I finally convinced them, okay, let me take this out, put gym turf in here. I furnished it with a bunch of gym equipment, and now my whole PT practice is in here. And it's nice because I would treat some golfers here because I use it to do the evaluations. And then
Mhm.
I'd have to bring them to the powerlifting gym across town. And two or three of them were like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I can't wait to lift. And then I have like a high level 16-year-old high school girl that came into the powerlifting gym. And she's like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm like, that's understandable.
Not my scene. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's cool. So your new space, you've been in there for a year. What made you decide to move to a new space? What was the determining factor there?
yeah, I really started to niche down into the golf scene like a year and a half ago because I would treat golfers, but I was kind of open to everybody. I mean, starting your own practice, you'll treat anybody and everybody
Right.
to get going. I had joined like a PT business training company, and they help you with Facebook ads, and they kind of give you like these avatars that work best for Facebook ads. And shoulder was one, so I started treating a ton of shoulders because it brought in a bunch of people. And then golfers was one. So I was treating shoulders and golfers. I got really good at shoulders, but I also got sick of it after a while. Like,
Mhm.
and I'd have 8 people in a day. I was like, oh, this is a full day, and six were shoulder pain, and then two were golfers. And then the
Right.
golfers would come in. I'm like, I actually really enjoyed that. So I was like, all right, it's probably time to focus on golf a little more. So that's when I approached the guys here that own the golf sim facility, and we ended up coming to an agreement, and here I am.
Very good. And is it just you as a physical therapist in there, or do you have other PTs there as well?
So April is kind of just a big month for us in general. My first son was born in April. I started here in April last year, and now this April, I'm hiring my wife. So she's a PT as well, and she just quit
Oh,
her full
that's
time
so
job. And
cool. That's awesome. Is she also into the golf community as well?
no, she coaches figure skating. She was a high level figure skater for a while.
Okay.
And figure skating and hockey are kind of huge around here. So she's going to niche down in that. And we've already got a bunch of people lined up for her. And so exciting times.
That's fantastic. April is it's big because today's April 1st, which is a year of me starting my own, like we were talking about. It's my 1 year anniversary since I left my full-time job. So, yep, springtime, things are changing, things are moving. I love it. So, I know we were talking about the golfers and you're saying, I mean, it's still orthopedic based, but with that community, what are you seeing more of? Like if you could put it into a couple of buckets of if you're going to evaluate a relatively serious golf player? Is that how you say it? Golfer.
Golfer.
Obviously, I don't golf much. What are you seeing them for typically?
It's interesting because now, like, I always ran into the issue with just the cash based world is you get somebody better and they already go to the gym, they already work out, they're already pretty active. So like it would be a high turnover. With my golfers, it's kind of a easy fluctuation from PT to performance. So like I treat people for their like pretty much every golfer has some type of back pain, neck pain, and shoulder is really the three that I see the most of. But as their pain starts to go away, now it's become a huge thing that golfers are athletes. Like
Right.
everybody on tour now, they're training. Like they had that Full Swing come out on Netflix, and every single
Yeah.
person's in the gym before and after. So it's becoming a big thing. So really, my caseload, when I actually look at it, there's probably two or three of my 6 or 7 people that I see each week that are true PT. The rest are more performance training. We do a
Yep.
little hands-on with them first, and we kind of mix the two of PT and performance, and seems to be pretty good like for me because then they go tell other friends. That's why I still 90% golfers. Like I still get a lot of referrals, word of mouth from like all my old patients and my golfers now that like, oh, my brother hurt his shoulder. Like, can he come in and have you take a look at him? And so now word of mouth marketing is kind of the only type of marketing I do.
I think it's interesting when you can, I guess, niche down enough to where they know that they can come to you for whatever they need to get out of pain, but then also you can optimize performance because that's when you can really make your mark in a certain patient population. Like, oh, go see Chris. He's not only is he going to help you fix your neck pain, but also you're going to hit the ball 5 miles an hour faster or whatever it is. And
Yeah,
that's big. People remember that, and then word travels fast.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's like in the PT world, objective measures are like where you show progress. Here I have a golf like simulator and the TrackMan that we use, it gives you every piece of data you need. It's like showing somebody like, here, do this med ball throw and push from this leg. All right, let's go swing and do that same motion, and they gain 5 miles an hour in a session. That's easy then to sell on the back end. Like
Right.
I'll just come see you for the rest of my life if I have to.
And sometimes they do. Sometimes they end up wanting to be lifelong patients. And you're like, well,
Yeah,
yeah, we should, discharge plan at some point, but this is good. Yeah.
yeah. I have a guy that has been coming to me for over a year. Every time I'm like, all right, Terry, I was like, do you want a like program to follow? He's like, no, I'm gonna come back again. And he's like the ultimate continuity person.
100%. Yeah. And he'll be your biggest spokesperson too.
Oh yeah.
So with that, do you typically go for packages when you're selling visits, or are you more so case by case, visit by visit?
So it's kind of changed over the years. I used to be only package because that's kind of what some of the training courses kind of taught you. Then I started seeing a lot of people that were high level performers, and they're like, I just want to in depth eval, know what's going on, give me a program. So I started doing more like one off treatments, and that was
Hmm.
basically a lot of what my PT is now. Um, like being in the powerlifting gym, I worked with two world record holders for bench press. Like they don't need me to show them a couple of rehab exercises. Um,
Right.
they were they were good enough to do it on their own, and that's kind of where it came to. Is PT? I usually maybe one or two sessions with them, and it's just more programming. And then golfers, it's I still do the packages because it
Yep.
really depends on what their goals are.
Yeah. I have run into very similar, I guess, circumstances. I will recommend a package if I think it's something where maybe it's a little bit more chronic, maybe they need a little bit more oversight from me and they'd benefit from like 10, 12 visits. But I also see some CrossFitters and more serious weightlifters and those people that, they've been run through it before. They've been injured before. They know what rehab looks like and they really just need another set of eyes on it and maybe one or two follow-up visits and then they're good to go. So yeah, I have never done exclusively packages for that reason because sometimes I'm like, I don't think I can justify the need for a package in this situation. So, yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, because there are a few times like I got to the fourth or fifth visit in a six visit package. I'm like, I definitely don't need to see you again. I was like, you could
Yeah,
save this visit. And like some people have followed up in a couple months. They're like, hey, I just want to do a retest of everything, which
sure.
is great, but I could do that as a one off.
Right, exactly. So, with marketing strategies, I know you mentioned like word of mouth has been super helpful, but I guess in the beginning, because now you've been operating for a while, what do you think helped build your caseload the most? Because like I was talking on Instagram today, a year ago today, I had one patient on my schedule, and now I've 20x that because now I think 21, 22 people on my schedule for this week. And I think that's pretty good numbers for me. It's pretty sustainable for a single clinician. And you've obviously grown as well. I've talked a little bit on here about my marketing strategies, but I want to know like what's been successful for you?
So I know you've talked about how Facebook ads weren't good for you. Um, I had the opposite. I mean, Facebook ads for me, it was almost like a faucet. I'd increase ad spend and I'd get a whole bunch of people in.
Mhm.
And then I get to the point where like, okay, I have too many people scheduled. Like I have to turn that down. And it was great, but it was mostly the shoulders. So like it was
Gotcha.
just like a certain avatar it worked great for. And then my golfers it works pretty well for. It's more seasonal here. So like I know like right now, if I wasn't so busy with comprehend, I would have my ad spend way up for golfers on Facebook right now because right now is where I'd get the biggest return on ad spend. So Facebook ads have been great.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, workshops are great, but there's so many cash PTs around here now that a workshop at like Orange Theory, I'd be the fourth or fifth PT to try to go there already.
Yes, yeah,
So
that's true.
the world of workshops is getting a little tougher. I still do some at golf, like big golf courses around here, which is another reason I moved into this facility. Where I am right now, I'm in the middle of where the four major country clubs are in Buffalo. Location wise, it was kind of ideal. And I'll go to
Location, yeah.
them once once a year and do like a workshop, and I get a big influx of people from that too. It's like when I first
Mhm.
started, it was workshops. I'd be busy for a couple weeks. Everybody from that would kind of die out, and then I'd have to go do another one, and so it was definitely a grind. My
Like,
first son was born the same year I started the business, and I just had another kid born last year, so definitely kind of waxes and wanes how much
yeah.
time I could put in, but we're
So
pretty
I'm
smooth
curious
sailing
about
now.
just from my own personal research with your Facebook ads, and I guess we could call this a meta ad also, because typically if you make one
Yep.
for Facebook, it shows up on Instagram too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the formatting that you think was helpful for you?
I mean, now it's changed, and that's the thing, it changes a lot. So, like, I
Yeah.
used a company that helped me with it. I
Was
don't
it
know if
PT
we,
Biz?
no, so I actually went through them when I first started. They were great to
Mhm.
kind of get me off the right off the start, like,
Yeah.
know what I need to build the clinic. I use Clinical Marketer. I actually joined their mastermind for a year and a half ago, which was super helpful. I grew a ton doing that. But they were the ones that really like showed me this is how you set up a Facebook ad. This is what you need to track as you go, and they kind of teach you how to do it.
Yeah. So clinical marketer, if in case people
Yeah,
want to look it up. Perfect. That
yeah.
sounds good.
Jordan
Like
and
that's good.
Ben.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, they they've been great. I mean, I still talk to them. Like I'm not in the mastermind anymore because of what I do now with the AI stuff, but I
Yeah.
still talk to a bunch of people from there, and like they were very helpful.
Very good. That's good to know. Maybe I'll look into them also. Okay, so you've mentioned the AI thing a couple of times. So I want to talk a little bit about Comprehend because on top of you just being a workhorse and owning your own clinic and seeing all these patients, you also are co-owner. There's two of you
Yep.
of
So
okay, of Comprehend AI.
yep.
So talk a little bit about that. Let the people know what that's about.
So my cousin, a lot smarter person than I am. He, I mean, back to when I was traveling, I was home during the holidays, and like we all do, we have notes we have to catch up on. And I was sitting at the kitchen table during Thanksgiving before dinner came out, catching up on an eval. And he was still in school. He's like, I think AI could probably do that for you at some point. I'm like, that'd be great. Like, I hate documenting, it's what everybody hates. And then fast forward, he went to school for it. He was building satellites and like missiles for space that are shoot down stuff. And he's way
Is he an
smarter than
aerospace
anybody.
engineer? What's
Yeah,
okay.
he was some type of like software engineer, got into like the private sector, writing code for all that stuff. And he's like, well, he's like, I'll build this for you instead. I'm like, if you say so. And then he
Wow.
showed me what it was. And I was like, this is awesome. And like originally it was just a soap note. Listen to my conversation. Like his mom, my aunt broke her arm. I did like an eval for her and he just recorded it on the side. And at the end he showed me, he's like, would you like it if it did this for you? I'm like, it just wrote my eval. I was like, that's what everybody hates doing.
Yeah.
And that was 3 years ago. So ever since then, we kind of been burning it down. We officially launched and went live at CSM last year. And since then, we've got over 2,000 people using it now. We're in a couple of major PT companies, and we just kind of keep growing.
Wow, that's amazing. Who knew that AI would breach into the healthcare industry like this? So, I mean, I guess a lot of people probably figured that it would, but
Yeah.
the PT industry, maybe you wouldn't have considered that to be the first place for it to go. But if it's going to go anywhere, for it to go into documentation, that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
please take that part of my job away.
And that was like everybody I talked to. It's like now I pretty much do all the demo calls for it because everybody wants to ask my opinion as a PT. And
Mhm.
like the fact that I still use it too with my clients, I kind of can go on both sides of the fence there and tell you like, yeah, for as a business owner, it's going to be super helpful. But as a PT in general, like I've never had anybody tell me it was a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So talk a little bit about, and you don't have to get super into the details, but how it works and how it stays HIPAA compliant too.
Yeah, so generally we have a direct integration with pretty much all the major EMRs like Jane, PT Everywhere, WebPT, Empower. They're all EMRs that we have an integration directly into. So we sit next to the EMR, you hit record when your patient walks in, have your session. So like for me, if you and I were having an eval, I would have hit record when we walked in, and I wouldn't have looked at my computer once. I would have been just paying attention to the patient. We go about measurements, we walk across the room, it's listening to everything we say. At the end, I hit stop and hit comprehend, and it auto fills in the note directly. I don't have to write anything. And once you set it up to match your style and tone, we're very customizable. It's just a click of a button and you're done.
That's amazing. And then the recording itself is then, like, automatically deleted once you've comprehended it, correct?
So the recording is deleted right away.
Yeah,
That keeps everything HIPAA compliant.
sure.
The transcript stays in there, but that way you can always look back on it. You can update it as you go. And now we have so many different features too. Like anybody that's in network, we have a compliance feature. So it'll actually give you a grade when you're done with your note and tell you like, hey, you missed this and this, like add this, and you're more compliant per CMS guidelines.
Wow, wow, it does it all. Yes, I think it's neat because 'cause I've been using it on and off for a little bit, and the web extension's awesome just because it's a little pop-up bar on the side, and once I click record and it comprehends the note for me, it sounds like me, but it sounds more thorough even than I would be. Naturally, right? You're not gonna sit there and write as much of a paragraph as the AI bot will do for you. So that's been really nice because it sort of ties everything up in a neat bow and makes it look better, and then when I look back on it for referencing whatever we did in the past, it's much more comprehensive. No pun
Good
intended.
fun.
Yeah, so that's neat. So you said the new features were the kind of the grading scale to make it better for insurance. What else is new? What else is coming in the comprehend sphere?
So we also have a chat feature, it recommends CPT coding, basically all the stuff nobody wants to do for their documentation. We will help you with it. This is something you could relate to. We went viral on Instagram. We had somebody stop by the booth at CSM. Odell, he PT now, he played in the NFL. He's
Maybe.
getting bigger on Instagram. He stopped by and did like a quick reel. And we actually launched at CSM this year AR glasses. So you put on the Meta Ray Bans and you have your visit. And I did a mock demo with my cousin at CSM day one. We had a bunch of people around, and you just put them on. You say, "Hey, comprehend," and it dings, and you could hear it go on the glasses, and you could ask it, "Who's my next patient? What is their background?" Start the visit. It opens up the extension, opens up the note, and starts recording, and then you just have your visit. And it's looking through the glasses because it's got a camera on it. You could say, hey, take a video of this. So if you're looking at somebody's squat, and then it'll shoot it to your phone. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
And
And it
that's
does
something
like,
that they can opt in for? Like, if I wanted to get that, I could?
so we are releasing the beta version in Q3.
Okay.
We got a bunch of people interested already. And then Q4, we're hoping to actually launch them. And it'll be like a tiered thing where like what we have right now is kind of our bread and butter. Like you hit record, let it listen to your session. It reads through all the lines. You don't have to dictate to it. It's just listening and able to know what's important and put it into the note. But yeah, with the
Mhm.
glasses, you don't have to look at your computer the whole day. You just go through your day with the glasses on. You say, "Hey, who's my next patient?" It'll tell you. It,
Wow.
it was pretty
That's
wild.
incredible because think about how much more present you could be. I mean, right now in my clinic, it's always one-on-one. There's never 2 patients in the same room, and I'm not really on my laptop, but if there is a spare moment where they're doing an exercise, I am trying to type things just so that I don't forget. So to be able to not look at the laptop at all and have confidence that everything is going to be transcribed, that's fantastic. I love that.
And like right now, I still have 2 or 3 Google reviews from the last couple of months where people are like, he never once looked at his computer. Like he was always like focused on me. He's really attentive. And it's because I know I don't have to write it down
Mhm.
because I have AI scribe.
Yeah, and the scribe is really nice because I was curious how it was going to filter out what's important and what's not because, in an hour session, you're talking about a lot of stuff. Like, yes, you're talking about whatever they have going on, but you're also like, "What'd you do this weekend?" And sometimes I worry that things are gonna get pulled into that mix, but it never does. When I look back at what it's pulled, it's always exactly what I would have said.
Yeah. And that's something that my cousin now we have a team with developers. They were able to kind of weed all that out. So like I live in Buffalo. We talk about the Buffalo Bills pretty much every day, and it's never ended up in my note. But that first, like, really like step one when we first launched everything, AI used to hallucinate. So, like, no background in AI. My cousin does all the presentations. I'm usually just kind of listening in.
Yeah,
They trained the original AI on Reddit, so it's kind of a degenerate learning where,
I
like,
love it.
it talked about some screwed up things and it used to hallucinate a ton. So, like, we get people that come to us, like, oh, I've tried a few AI scribes, like it was okay. We're like, ours, because it's so customizable, we built it for PTs, um, which inherently is kind of branched out to OT and speech and everybody else. Because as long as you use the EMR, then you could use our software.
Right.
But, like, because we built it for therapists, like, it's very customizable and able to know, like, what we usually look at. Um,
Mhm.
so it's helped a ton, but it was one of those things that the original version, like, it would make up some weird stuff.
Did it talk about the Buffalo Bills?
It would put it in the note. So, like, I did have one person where he jumped through a table and hurt his shoulder, and that's why he's coming to see me. But, like, that was actually relevant to the case. But it was funny that everybody always asks, like, well, does irrelevant stuff show up? I'm like, it hasn't for me in 2 years. So,
On my note, yesterday, it was like, "It is what the patient said," but it said, "The exercise made his shoulder hurt like hell." I was like, "Yes, yes, it did." I love that it picked that up, like, "Mhm, sure." That's funny.
oh
Um,
yeah.
do you think that there's a future where pretty much every EMR system, even in hospitals, has an AI feature?
Yeah. So it's funny because there's a few EMRs out there that have tried to build their own within the last, like, year or two, and it's just not very good. It's basically just a dictation tool. So, like, some of
Right.
them that built their own have already reached back out to us, like, hey, can we partner and basically offer you guys as, like, an upgrade? So there's a few EMRs that do that now. We have a few official partnerships with some already. Within a year or two, everybody's going to have an AI scribe, either that they bought and now use, or that they partner with and give you an option to use. Because
Right.
it's just the future. I mean, it's the one thing that everybody hates doing as a PT is documenting, and
Right.
this is the tool that now fixes that.
Yes, and for those interested in looking at it, it does sound like you because you create your own templates and you give examples of what you would have said in a note in the first place, and then it takes that and when you select like, okay, this is a daily note for this patient coming in at 2 o'clock, it pulls from that daily note and bases it off of what you would have said. So it really does sound legit, and it is legit. Do you think that there's a world where you're not seeing patients anymore and you're just doing comprehend? Is that the long-term plan?
I mean, I enjoy treating,
Mhm.
so I'll probably always see a couple golfers here and there. I mean, long-term goal eventually would be my wife and I treat a little bit. We have a few PTs because, like, I would love to give PTs the opportunity to work at a place that they enjoy going to. Because, like, we were talking a little bit earlier, Western New York reimbursement is terrible for insurance, and there's three PT schools all within like a 10-mile radius. So, like, competition is super high for a job, but then the jobs pay really poorly, and they have to see 30 people a day. So at least I can help on both ends. Where if I have the AI scribe that can take that burden of documentation off of them, 30 people a day still is terrible, but it's not as bad if you don't have to document for it.
So
You
true.
just have to like look it over. But then if I could give a couple more PTs the opportunity to work in a cash clinic, like, that's kind of a goal.
Yes, it's a goal, and it's definitely trending in that direction. I think with the advent of social media and people being more aware of what life can look like outside of school a couple years out, doing your own thing, people are weighing their options a little bit more and thinking more long term. I mean, definitely more long term than you and I did when we were in school. So that would be really nice. I'm sure people would love to have that opportunity. I feel like Buffalo is similar to Chattanooga in that it's very highly saturated with physical therapists and PT clinics. I mean, they're everywhere. There's a, more cash-based PTs here than I realized. There's tons of outpatient clinics. I mean, it is everywhere. And so being able to give people that unique experience, if they're interested, I think would be awesome.
I think cash PT is kind of the future of PT at this point. Just depends how far down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder about that because I've thought the same thing, but then I always think about, the people who think of your chronic pain or patient who's has government funded insurance and just had a big surgery. That one, I still feel like to some capacity, there will always be the in-network physical therapy clinic. I do think cash-based is definitely taking over a lot bigger portion of the patient population than even a few years ago, but part of me is like, I couldn't see those patients ever opting to go out of network, you know?
Yeah. And the more I talk to people now with Comprehend, I talk to people all around the country. Um, from everything I'm learning now too with insurances and basically a lot of private equity is buying up big PT clinics. They're all merging with hospital-based clinics because hospitals
Mhm.
get paid like 5x what a normal outpatient does for the same treatment. So from everything I'm seeing, the hospitals are buying up a bunch of clinics, private equity is buying up a bunch. So you're going to have that end of the spectrum where it's high volume, average care because it's just kind of more cookie cutter. And then I feel
Mhm.
like cash PT is going to be the other side of it where that's where you get the true like PT individualized care. It's just where do you fall into that spectrum?
Right. So there will be a much greater volume of cash-based PT, but the divide between what the care looks like, whether it's in network or out of network, will be much greater too. Like that gap is going to widen as things get bought up and people also
Yeah.
start to go out on their own a lot more. So that'll be interesting to see. I think you don't think about how PT is going to change when you're in school and you feel like it's always going to be the same and you'll always have the same job. But obviously, just according to what you do already, it's
Yeah.
changing all the time. So you are the future.
Trying.
Yeah, you're trying. All right. Well, where can people find you slash find Comprehend if they're interested in integrating that into their practice? And I think you had mentioned it's PTOT speech chiropractors.
Cairo, we have a few mental health, some
Great.
athletic training. Basically, if you use an EMR, we can be used. We have a website, comprehendhealth.ai. If you just Google Comprehend Health or Comprehend PT, either one, it pops up. We do free trials. We have Instagram. Um, we don't post as much as we should. It's one of those things that you know all about that. But we are easily accessible. I mean, we'll be at all the conferences again. Like we're co-hosting one at the end of the month, so we're getting pretty big. And look us up, and maybe we'll be chatting soon because I do all the demo calls.
Awesome. Yes. And I can speak from experience. The demo call is worth it. You'll learn a lot. And Chris is great. And you said you go to CSM every year?
Yep. Every year we go to CSM. We have a booth. Like I said, we do a couple of other conferences throughout the year too, and we try to get out there as much as we can.
Good. Where's CSM next year?
San Diego.
San Diego. Okay. Well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'll catch you
Or,
out there next year. We can meet in
or
person and
Anaheim,
hang
maybe
out.
one of the two. It's
Okay.
Southern
Yes.
California.
Cool. I'll take it. Either way,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been fun. I think everybody will be interested to learn about what you guys are doing because I really think it's groundbreaking and it's so helpful coming from the PT's perspective for sure. So I really appreciate it. And until next time,
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, and congratulations again on the baby. And we
thank
will
you.
we'll chat soon.
Yeah, chat soon.
All right.